We've searched far and wide for the best football manager saves you've ever seen, and one of them today might just be the best ever. We start with Mr. Kasha Boombastic, who's managing Rio Maior. I took Rio Maior from the 6th tier in Portugal to 2 Champions Leagues in a row, with a substantial portion of homegrown players. Now, they admitted to using the editor, but said they used it to try and better the infrastructure of the clubs in their region after they'd already gotten Rio Maior to the top league. And they also said that didn't work. Not surprising. So not only are they managing Rio Maior, they're managing the Canadian under-20 national team, who are currently in the North American under-20 championship semifinals against the United States. So nice. It's 2038, meaning we've played 15 seasons, and the trajectory is pretty nuts. 6th division, 5th division, 4th division, 3rd division, 2nd division, straight promotions all the way through. Then 10th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 4th, and 1st each of the last 5 years in the Portuguese 1st division. The reputation of the club, a clean 5 stars, which is just wild looking at the badge. Was this club founded in 2016? I think it was. Let's take a look at the key player. It's the lad from Switzerland, Fabio Palmasano. Excellent intelligence, very, very good athlete. Technically kind of a little not good. A natural wide playmaker, which is just unusual. Please tell me you use him as a wide playmaker. What are we doing? We have a natural wide playmaker and we don't use him as a wide playmaker. This guy's like a 1 in a million. He's a perfectly great defensive midfielder, honestly. So he's had back-to-back Champions Leagues, and that is exactly what has come to pass. Beat Inter in the final, beat Arsenal in the final in extra time. Yo, you beat Real Madrid in your first run to the final. That's what I'm talking about. The next run to the final may be a little easier. Starts off with Benfica, then Barcelona, then Arsenal, and then Inter. One thing I'm interested in is if you've actually managed to shift the coefficients. No, Portugal's still hanging out down in 6th, but you are the biggest reputation club in the world. That's pretty crazy. 2038, you've got Rio Maior from the 6th division of Portugal, all the way up to being bigger than PSG, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Man City, like bigger than everyone. You have a couple of other star players, allow me to oogle. I'll say this though, I think this is excellent management that you have managed to win the Champions League back-to-back years with this team, because I don't think you have one of those teams that is overwhelmingly more talented than every other team in the world. You have a lot of very good players. I would imagine the last season in the league was a bit of a wash. Yeah, you had a perfect season. Did you have a perfect season? You might have. Oh no, you lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League phase. And you lost one of the legs of the semifinal at Arsenal. Other than that, won literally everything. All the cups, won the league. That's remarkable. The competition is very tough in these insane save rating videos, but I'm going to go ahead and spot this one a solid 7 out of 10. I mean, this is really impressive. But, you almost got away with it. You sneaky such and such, you almost got away with it. You know, I was looking at the players going, you know, really great management in order to get your team to this level, winning multiple Champions Leagues. Well, turns out it wasn't your management at all, was it? I'm just going to check one little thing here. Yeah, that's what I thought. This is Isan's World Championship tactic with Indonesia at the Football Manager World Cup. This is proven to be a plug and, you know, just outperform your overall ability level type tactic. It's literally the one that won the World Championship. So I'm going to take that 7 and I'm going to unfortunately turn it down to a 4. I thought about going even lower, but I don't know how long you've used this tactic, and you might have pulled off a lot of your accomplishments before having it, so I don't want to go all the way down. There's nothing wrong with using this tactic to have a lot of fun, but to try and stand up against the other great saves, you gotta have your own thing. Next, Lord Parquoff. This is a hot seat save that my friends and I have been doing the last few months in prep for FM25. Moment of silence. We continue. But it is bounced between 7 people at our peak, with each of us doing a season and keeping everyone else in the dark while we do it. Starting at Helmand Sport, then to AFC Wimbledon. Oh, I love this. To Vaduz, to Deportivo Cali in Colombia, and now Magpies in Gibraltar. We have managed to make each team a household name so far, and most recently I got Magpies into the Champions League phase. This has been the most fun I have ever had in FM, and it's a great idea for a group of FM friends until FM 26. P.S. Inigo Carino is my favorite player I've ever seen in FM. We also use the editor to manually move clubs and see the PA of guys we like if our friends sold them. Fair enough. First of all, Bruno's Magpies, freaking excellent choice. We made one of our Hidden Grounds videos about the Bruno's Magpies. It was founded in a bar 15 years ago. We're in 2065? They weren't founded 15 years ago now. They were founded like friggin' 60 years ago. This thing's been a journeyman the entire time. If so, that's just absolutely insane. So's a $16.5 million balance at Bruno's Magpies. Hey, you made the Champions League phase, and that's what matters. Beat Shakhtar Donetsk in the playoff 5-4. But this is all about the career. And when they were saying they went to all these different teams, I thought that meant that they were, in each of those teams for 1 year. But this is kind of crazy. They dominated Eredivisie for a long time, then moved to AFC Wimbledon for some reason, using the editor to move teams, obviously, as they said. Took AFC Wimbledon from League 2 to winning the Premier League 4 out of 5 years, including a year with the Super Cup, Community Shield, Club World Cup, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, and Carabao, which is crazy. They moved to Vaduz, I'm assuming, to try and do the Liechtenstein Challenge, and then won the Champions League with Vaduz, which is so hard. They won the Conference League the year before, which is how you get into the Champions League, and then they won the Champions League. They completed the Liechtenstein Challenge. That's insane. They go to Deportivo Cali, they win the Copa Libertadores, and now they're at Bruno's Magpies. I'm assuming trying to turn Bruno's Magpies and Gibraltar into Champions League winners. Not gonna lie, this isn't even the save I was talking about. This is one of the most impressive and fun saves I have ever seen. They basically picked a different challenge as a group and gone out to conquer that challenge. Now, Inigo Carino, 37 years young. This guy played at AFC Wimbledon. Okay, he was part of their AFC Wimbledon teams. He won 33 competitions in his career. 33 trophies. Dude, 93 caps, 58 goals for Mexico. Full respect to Inigo Carino. FIFA Best Men's Player on 2 occasions. FIFA FIFPro Player of the Year on 2 occasions. European Men's Player of the Year. World Golden Ball. Yeah, this dude was legit. And I love we honor him in honor of this absolutely amazing save that you've put together. And I can't wait for the next chapter with Bruno's Magpies. Honestly, this save has everything you could possibly want. They've beaten some of the toughest challenges in Football Manager, like the Liechtenstein Challenge. They've done it as a group, having fun with a unique concept and idea. They've played it on forever. This is a 10 out of 10 save. This is a 10 out of 10 save. Congratulations to everybody that's been a part of it. Next, we have Ollie W. In the 2040s with Polonia Warszawa have successfully established the Polish league as the highest coefficient league in Europe. Multi-repeat UCL champions, previously managed Poland to 3rd at the World Cup. Editor has been used, but only to rename players who have changed international allegiances. Oh, it's such the things that set people off. My captain, Antonio Cito, won me an official FM kit with his name and number. Some of their favorite players are Kim Seung-ho, Serdan Svian, and Hernan Rojas. Sounds like a nice, diverse squad. So obviously the league is a complete blowout. 15 wins from 15, and I would imagine won the league an unbelievable number. Yeah. Won the league 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... 14 years in a row. Also, respect to this save. It's called Climbing the Pole in Poland. That's good. That's quality. They've won 8 Champions Leagues in a row. It's the longest streak, obviously, of consecutive Champions Leagues, beating Real Madrid's 5 straight at the start of the competition. 8 straight Champions Leagues. You know what's crazy? Look at who they're... I mean, this is a legit build a nation. Look at who they're playing in the Champions League final. Cracovia, Lech Warsaw, and Cracovia. It has been an all-Poland Champions League final each of the last 3 years. That's insane. This is an unbelievably successful build-a-nation save. Maybe the best I've ever seen. So this was one of the players they loved, Serdan Svian. Yeah, 20 technique and 17 pace and 18 work rate. Sign me up. Seriously. Serdan Svian signed for $950,000. Of course he was. Kim Seung-ho, absolutely nasty midfielder who's obviously carried Polonia Antonio. How are you not the biggest team in the world by reputation? You are the biggest team in the world by reputation. I don't know why you said you're 6th. There's no way you're not. And Poland, number 1 in the coefficient. They get 4 nations into the league phase, and they finish 2nd, so they get an extra team into the Champions League because the coefficient, like, continental comp nation coefficient place race. Easy for you to say. In the coefficients, the top 3 teams are Polish, Cracovia, and Lech are both up there, which is just insane. You like brought 2 teams with you. Rakov is 32nd. And there are 3 other Polish teams, including Rakov, that have full 4-star reputation and make it onto the world's list for highest reputation highest reputation team. Absolutely remarkable what we're witnessing right here. 8 consecutive Champions Leagues. This is a dumb thing to be interested in, but when was the last time you didn't win a league match? So last year, perfect. Year before, perfect. Year before, perfect. Year before, perfect. Year before, perfect. Drew a match in 2035-36. Last league loss, perfect the year before that. Perfect the year before that. 2 draws the year before that. Haven't lost a league match in 4 draws the year before that. Can we go a decade? Yes. Haven't lost a league match in a decade. The last loss was in 2029, 2030. They lost 3 matches. That was it. Have not lost a league match since then. Have not drawn a league match in like 6 seasons. Hilarious dominance. And that's, by the way, in a league that includes these teams that managed to, make it to the Champions League final. It's not like all of a sudden, like Cracovia literally beat PSG. And Atletico Madrid. Lech beat Arsenal and Liverpool 8-3. And they're putting up perfect seasons in that league. It's crazy. Feyenoord made the final of one of these. That's pretty nuts. Couple of extra... Wow, that's dicey. There were 2 straight extra time wins in the 8 straight run. They won the first one against Manchester United. It was a near run thing against Bayern in the semifinal. And then extra time and then extra time against Lech Poznan. It must have been incredibly exciting to see them make it that far, obviously. And then maybe it's been a little more comfortable. 1-0, 1-0. The tactic is a 4-3-3, kind of match-controlling tactic, it seems. No other tactic needed. Perfect cohesion. A trequartista, a deep-lying forward. Bro, we've done multiple of these videos where we have you submit your best saves and then break them down. This is another 10. And I don't hand those out lightly. This is an unbelievable save. In honor of the save, Antonio Cito is the player that apparently got an official FM kit with his name and number on the back, and he is a just classic deep-lying playmaker of the highest order from Mozambique. What a batch of saves. Next, your boy GNB with Tre Fiori, which the San Marinese club, and San Marino national team. I made the Euros in 12 years with San Marino. That is the biggest achievement so far, my best ever save doing the San Marino challenge, but with a twist. While most people use Victor San Marino, I challenge myself to use a club in the San Marinese League and win everything. So far, I've made a Champions League final and led at half before a brutal 95th winner against me. Reached 14th in the European coefficients, dominated my Euros qualifying group, and made it to Nations League A and almost in the top 100 of the FIFA rankings. And in case you're wondering, they do have the editor off. So we normally, as part of this, we ask you if you use the editor at all, and a lot of people use the editor for various little small things, and I always recommend that you leave the editor on in case there's bugs in the save. But if you're going for something as unbelievable as the San Marino Challenge, leaving the editor off is definitely a good way to go. And they've loaded a database in, obviously, to play in the San Marinese League with Tre Fiori, and they've dominated the league. Although unthinkably, they did actually have a draw against Trepeni last year, and that Champions League eludes them, even though they lost on a 95th minute goal to Arsenal. But they've got a club in the San Marinese League up to 3-star reputation. Honestly, feels like it should be higher. Now for the San Marino national team. Got knocked out in the group stage of the Euros, but still, they managed to get San Marino to the 2036 European Championships, and that is amazing. They didn't even get embarrassed while they were there. Now, what I'm looking for is a certain amount of national team recruiting, and I see a little bit of it going on. For one thing, Lewis Miley is a San Marino national team player, but that's a good pickup. because Lewis Miley is not good enough to play for England. So if he plays for Tre Fiori long enough, he's able to play for San Marino. Also, Barcelona youth player Pal Prem. I mean, this is how you have to do the build a nation. They're using the team Tre Fiori to sign players like Oscar Texidor and Nassim Gil from Portugal and Spain at a very young age. They come over, they become San Marinese, and then they play for the national team. But there are other players that have come up through their academy, like this guy, Mateo Esposito. Definitely better than any player that San Marino has in real life. But this is like a militant bit of work to bring young players in and make them San Marinese as quickly as possible. But I honestly have no problem with this. This is the way you have to do it. There is no available thing kind of in the game for you to be able to develop the youth rating of San Marino over time, to have a bunch of guys coming out of youth academies as San Marinese nationality that's going to be able to advance for you. No, they're building a mercenary team that plays for Tre Fiori in the San Marinese League and using it to juice the San Marino national team. That is just straight up and down dedication. This might be, honestly, the most true attempt I've ever seen at a San Marino challenge. Literally down to playing with a team in the San Marinese League in the first place. This is a really authentic, true attempt at doing this challenge. Oh, look, they're giving somebody like Lewis Miley a new lease on life here. They can pick him up for free. Newcastle lets him go, and he becomes a regular player with Tre Fiori. I love the stories here. But I have some bad news. This is the Ixon miracle tactic that they're using to achieve this, and that's going to lead to a downgrade. Everything else, and even down to the editor being off and the way they're attempting to do this with their player acquisition and everything, is the way you have to do the San Marino challenge to try and make it all the way. But they are using a copy and paste tactic. And so what would be a 10 out of 10 is going to be an 8 out of 10. I'm not going to go too low because the heart and the effort and the thought process that goes into growing a team in the San Marinese League to this point, into getting the San Marinese national team into the Euros, is beyond. It's crazy. Even with using Ixon's tactic, it's crazy. Next, we have File Fire with Gateshead FC. Greetings. This save is my first ever save in FM24. Because I am relatively new to this game. I chose this club because I am a Newcastle fan and wanted to rebuild a local club near Newcastle, and I learned most Newcastle fans support Gateshead. I decided to see if I could win the treble with Gateshead. Within 17 seasons, I managed to achieve that and other trophies, as well as some of the best players I've seen. But there's something they put in their message that makes me a little bit skeptical, right? They list players, right? Patrick Imbaum, Rodrigo, Dominic Van Hove, Yaroslav Batka, and Ricardo Rezende. But then they put in parentheses, who is a goalkeeper at 199 potential ability. Now, how do you know that? How do you know that? All right, now, how do you know that? I'm not making any accusations. I'm just wondering, how do you know that? All right, now, how would you know that? Just that piece of knowledge. How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? Oh, I overreacted. I did buy the in-game editor to check PA and CA at the end of the save. But that means you would have had to leave editor enabled at the start of the save even though you didn't own the editor. Or am I just being too much a conspiracy theorist? Let's look at the save. Yo, 100 points. Hello. A Centurion team with Gateshead in 2041 and 3 consecutive Premier League titles, as well as trading Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, apparently. Oh, they lost it on penalties. They lost the three-peat on a penalty shootout against Real Madrid. Like, I don't care how good your team is. There is no way to beat the Real Madrid voodoo. There's no way. It's not possible. Get used to it. It's not possible. And then there's the FA Cup win, which I would imagine this one's been annoying you for a little while. I actually only made the FA Cup final one other time. But now, like, this is a, you were talking about first save on FM24. I think you're saying your first ever, like, long-form Football Manager save. This is a great run. This is a great way to attack it. Take 2 years to get promoted here, 2 years to get promoted here. I'm going to be honest, if you are using the editor, it's probably going to get you out of the championship a lot faster than that. So I believe that they use the editor right there at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons to get out of the championship. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons to finally get to a point where you win the Premier League. But a Centurion treble, that is the perfect time to walk away from a save. That's remarkable. Yeah, Rodrigo is pretty good. You definitely have players on your team that are in the potential Ballon d'Or winning category. And this guy's absolutely in that. It's like the same player, Dominic Van Hove. Patrick Mbom, 20 dribbling on this guy. Cool, $182 million purchase. Potentially up to $206 million with add-ons. $139 million for Rodrigo. $115 million for Dominic Van Hove. This is what we call spending your money, chat. You're back-to-back Premier League champion and your financial status is only okay. Let me see the clauses. Let me see the clauses. How much are you paying? On Mbom, still owe 2 more payments of $20 million. Naja, you own $12 million for 3 years, $7 million for 3 years. It's all the purchases, dude. They all have installments on them. You have leveraged your future massively, betting that you'd be able to build a team that won, and you know what? You freaking did it. So it don't matter. You just squeezed a winning team onto the field, and it worked. Incredibly simple tactic, which I also respect the hell out of. For a first save, I'm going 9 out of 10. It's a hell of an effort on a first save. Next! This one comes from Tactical Cyanide. Nice. It's with Borussia Dortmund. Hey, it's my first attempt at a journeyman save. Oh. I started with Triglav in the Slovenian second division, where I got promoted. Then I moved to the Greek second division with Levadikos, where I promoted them as champions. Moved a few teams before I ended up at Sociedad, where I made the Europa League final, and we lost to Newcastle. I then moved to West Ham in the Premier League, where we made 2 European finals, the 29 Europa League final against Chelsea and the 2030 Champions League final against Chelsea. We lost both. Oh, I made 1 more Champions League final with Real Madrid and lost. I then went to Everton, where we won the Premier League. I made it to PSG, where we finally won the Champions League over Napoli. I used the editor to switch to Everton and then PSG because my game crashed after I accepted those jobs. It's Football Manager, I believe that. When did you move to Dortmund? So to Journeyman, we want to take a look at the job history, and here you managed to win Champions League, Coupe de France, and Ligue 1. Won the Premier League and the FA Cup over 4 seasons with Everton. Spent 1 year at Manchester United, where it just didn't go well. I love that. Manchester United is so hard to manage. So it was Levadiakos, Real Oviedo, on to Almere City in the Eredivisie, and then Real Sociedad, which is where they made the final in West Ham, then Real Madrid. They didn't mention Real Madrid. They didn't win the Champions League in those 4 years? Oh. This is an interesting career, but as far as a first journeyman goes, I like the fact that there are rises and falls. Like, this just feels like it would have been a very fun save to play. There was a lot of pushback, and I give them a lot of credit for pushing through that, but I really just want to commend the perseverance. A first journeyman save, up and down, brutal losses all over, but you made it all the way to the top of the game with Real Madrid, with Manchester United. You won the Premier League, and you eventually managed to win the Champions League as well. Obviously, it's not the most mind-blowingly successful save you're ever going to see, but, they went on a great journey, and they stuck it out. And they also used a stupidly creative tactic. I mean, what even is this? I don't know if they used it the whole time, but they just used it to win the Bundesliga, and I freaking love that. If you want to check out more insane saves, I got a video right there for you that's calling your freaking name. And if not, I'll see you on stream. Playing Kingdom Come Deliverance right now, and I've turned into a potions master. The next potion I'm making is called the 442. It has healing properties.